trees, gnarled and ancient, stood as silent sentinels. A circle of firelight pushed back the darkness, flames licking at the night. We were huddled close, faces flickering in the dance of orange and shadow. The air was thick with unspoken fear, the anticipation of stories that would chill us to the bone. There's a primal fear that comes with the night. Something about the darkness that awakens instincts buried deep within us. We become aware of every rustle in the undergrowth, every snap of a twig. Our senses, heightened, betray us into imagining things lurking just beyond the reach of the firelight. Tonight, we indulge those fears. We gather to tell tales that send shivers down our spines, stories that make us pull our blankets tighter. These are not stories for the faint of heart. These are campfire horrors, passed down through generations, each telling adding a layer of dread. So gather closer, my friends, let the fire warm you as the night grows colder. Listen to the crackle of the flames and the whisper of the wind through the trees. For tonight we share tales that will chill you to your very core. Tales that will linger in your mind long after the embers have died down. A lone car sped through the desolate highway, swallowed by the vast emptiness of the night. The driver, a young man on a cross-country road trip, was getting tired. His eyelids felt heavy, the road seemed to stretch endlessly before him. That's when he saw her, a woman in a white dress standing by the side of the road, her thumb extended in a desperate plea for a ride. He almost drove past, a sense of unease settling in his gut. But something made him stop. Maybe it was her desolate beauty, or the way her eyes seemed to plead for help. She got in, her touch sending a chill down his spine. She spoke little, her voice a soft whisper that sent shivers down his spine. She asked him to drop her off at the old cemetery just a few miles down the road. He felt a growing sense of dread, but he continued driving. Reaching the cemetery gates, he turned to let her out, but the back seat was empty. The woman in white had vanished. Shaken to his core, he sped away, the image of the woman and the desolate graveyard forever etched in his mind. He never stopped on that highway again, the memory of the hitchhiker a chilling reminder of the mysteries that lurk in the shadows. Deep in the woods, shrouded in an eerie silence, stood an abandoned cabin. It was a place locals whispered about, their voices hushed, their eyes wide with fear. A place where darkness lingered and time seemed to stand still. Two friends, out on a hiking trip, stumbled upon it, drawn by a morbid curiosity. The cabin stood in a state of disrepair, its wooden walls rotting, windows boarded up, and the roof partially caved in. The air around it felt heavy, oppressive, as if an unseen force was warning them to stay away. Ignoring their instincts, they stepped onto the porch, its floorboards creaking ominously under their weight. Inside, the air was thick with dust and the stench of decay. Furniture lay overturned, covered in cobwebs, as if the occupants had left in a hurry. As they ventured further in, they heard it, a soft whisper coming from the far end of the cabin. Their blood ran cold. They were not alone. They turned slowly, their hearts pounding in their chests, to face the source of the sound. But there was nothing there. The whisper, however, seemed to hang in the air, a ghostly echo that sent them fleeing from the cabin. They never went back, forever haunted by the whispers in the abandoned cabin. Campfires crackled, casting a warm glow on the faces of friends sharing stories and laughter. But just beyond the edge of the light, a darkness lurked, a coldness that sent shivers down their spines. They were unaware of the eyes watching them, unseen from the shadows. A group of teenagers were camping, their tents pitched under the vast star-studded sky. They shared stories, sang songs, their laughter echoing through the silent woods. One by one, they drifted off to sleep, unaware of the danger that lurked nearby. One of the girls woke up in the middle of the night, a cold sweat clinging to her skin. She felt a presence in the tent, a coldness that seemed to seep into her bones. She heard her name being whispered, a voice filled with a sorrow so profound it sent chills down her spine. She sat up, her heart pounding in her chest, and saw him. A translucent figure, a young man with sadness etched on his face, stood at the foot of her sleeping bag. He reached out a hand, his touch sending a wave of icy fear through her. Then, as quickly as he appeared, he vanished, leaving behind a chilling silence. The girl, forever marked by the encounter, packed her things and left the campsite before sunrise, the memory of the campground ghost forever etched in her mind. The flames danced, casting flickering shadows on the faces around the fire. The last story had been told, leaving a lingering sense of unease in its wake. We sat in silence for a while, each lost in their own thoughts, the weight of the tales settling upon us. The wind picked up, rustling the leaves in the trees around us, sounding like whispers in the dark. Or were they whispers? The sound seemed to draw closer, circling us, pronouncements from an unseen world. We huddled closer to the fire, seeking comfort in its warmth. One by one we started to share our own experiences, our voices hushed, our eyes darting nervously into the darkness beyond the firelight. Had we imagined the rustling leaves, the feeling of being watched, the cold spots in the air? As the night wore on, the boundary between stories and reality blurred. The line between the campfire and the darkness beyond seemed to thin, leaving us with a lingering sense of unease. We knew deep down that the things that haunted our stories were closer than we thought, lurking just beyond the reach of the firelight, waiting for their moment to step into our world. And as we finally turned in for the night, the whispers in the dark followed us into our dreams.